Good evening and welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Tamiru Nimsa. Let's have a look at the headlines. Government plans to amend Act that was criticized for tax holidays. Energy Ministry facilitates project to enhance the liquefied natural gas capabilities. News in detail. Government is planning to amend the Strategic Development Act, which gave discretionary tax holidays and personal income tax free to up to 30 top executives in each project is to be amended. This DB Act has come under fire from the International Monetary Fund, in particular for long negotiated discretionary tax holidays given to projects exposing the country to corruption vulnerabilities. Treasury Secretary Mahinda Siriwardana in a public lecture voiced that a comprehensive review of the costs and benefits of past tax incentives granted will be initiated to have more rigorous approach to the granting of new incentives to investors. He further said that the planned approach will have specific and transparent criteria and processes, and it will also include sunset clauses to limit the duration of incentives and include assessment of benefits and costs. He explained that the amendments to the Strategic Development Projects Act will most probably be submitted to the Parliament by February next year to introduce transparent, rules-based eligibility criteria. He asserted that the process will assist to increase the effectiveness of granted tax incentives and to limit the duration for which incentives can be granted. LTL Holdings Sri Lanka and Petronet LNG India signed a MOU to develop infrastructure for the storage, regasification and supply of liquefied natural gas to the Subadhanu combined cycle power plant in Kerawalapitiya. The MOU was signed by LTL Holdings CEO Nuhuman Marikar and Petronet LNG CEO and Managing Director Akshay Kumar Singh at an event held in Colombo recently. The first phase of the plant is expected to be commissioned in August 2024, with the second phase slated for early 2025. As an interim solution, LNG will be imported from Petronet's terminal in Kochi, India, using cryogenic ISO containers. These will be transported from Colombo Port to the Kerawalapitiya storage and regasification terminal, which will be constructed adjacent to the Subadhanu plant. The Deputy High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, Dr. Satyanjal Pandey, emphasized the importance of reliable, cleaner and sustainable energy for economic growth and enhancing the quality of life. He highlighted the joint efforts between India and Sri Lanka to boost energy security and reduce costs, positioning Sri Lanka as a potential major energy exporter. Speaking at the event, Power and Energy Minister Kanchana Wijesekara highlighted the government's goal of reducing electricity costs by 40 to 50% and passing these savings on to the users. The minister also outlined plans to phase out diesel, crude oil and naphtha use, aiming to meet 70% of the country's electricity needs through renewable energy and the remaining 30% through LNG.
Now with this signing, we hope that the 18-month time frame is strictly adhered to and that we have the infrastructure and the supply ready at least by the beginning of 2026 so that our power plants are ready to generate power from LNG. That will significantly bring down the cost of energy. Right now, what we spend on energy in terms of diesel-powered power stations is about 106 or 110 rupees a unit. The next best option is HFO, heavy fuel oil, or naphtha power generation, but which is also still expensive than the LNG power plants. So we hope when the power stations operate from LNG that we can bring down the cost by at least about 40 to 50% and give that advantage to the consumers. It was not easy for CEB or the country to invest money, finance, or go into any sort of agreement for infrastructure development or to obtain LNG with the intervention of the government. That's why LTL Holdings was selected as a company operating the power plants to come up with an agreement with Petronet LNG, work as a business-to-business agreement, and the government to facilitate whatever requirements that you have.
Stay tuned. We will return after the short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. The 27th Annual General Meeting of the Sri Lanka-Singapore Business Council of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce took place in Colombo recently. During the meeting, Shiluka Gunawardena was re-elected as President for the 2024 and 2025 term, continuing his leadership for another year. The Vice Presidents re-elected for the period include Tilak Gunawardena of MAC Holdings, Nirupa Perez of Overseas Realty Ceylon PLC, and Indra Kaushal Rajapaksha of Kalhari Enterprises. The Council also welcomed new companies to its committee for the 2024 and 2025 period, and Prajit Balasubramaniam will continue to serve as the immediate past President. In his address, Gunawardena mentioned successful initiatives such as a trade delegation to Singapore, virtual discussions with the High Commissioner in Singapore, and programs focused on sustainability, green financing, and tax changes. The AGM also featured a keynote presentation by Chief Executive Officer of the Advocate Institute, Dhananath Fernando, who offered insights into current economic trends. Union Bank, in collaboration with the National Innovation Agency and the University of Moratul, launched the Union Bank School of Social Entrepreneurship at an event held in Colombo recently. The launch event marked the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the three entities to advance the National Entrepreneurship Development Program. Union Bank Vice President of Marketing Tishani Disanayaku highlighted that Union Bank's support would cover various aspects of the program, including operational costs, expert fees, and facility enhancements. Union Bank Deputy CEO Dilchan Rodrigo announced that the initial phase will offer a certificate with plans to evolve it into a comprehensive program. Union Bank Chairman Nirvana Chowdhury, drawing from his experience in rural Nepal, emphasized the importance of creating an ecosystem of education and networking for entrepreneurs to thrive in the market. Senior Professor N.D. Gunawardena also spoke at the event, discussing a proposal by President Ranil Wickremesinghe to establish a technology and innovation fund. Jehovah's Witnesses began their annual convention this year too at the Sugatdas Indoor Stadium and will have another session this weekend at the same venue. The organizers say this free event is expected to draw more than 10,300 attendees to the selected cities over the course of 4 weekends. Representatives from the Jehovah's Witnesses say this year's theme was Declare the Good News. Religious sessions as usual have been organized in Colombo, Chilau, and Kalniya in all 3 languages. The convention will present Bible-based videos, discourses, and interviews on various topics such as why do we need good news, use the good news to defeat bad news, why we don't fear bad news.
In a world where bad news and distressing news is rife, we need to hear something good. That is the purpose of the Declare the Good News series of conventions. We look forward to helping people realize why we don't need to fear bad news and how good news can affect us in a positive way.
Stay tuned for stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange and around negative notes today.
The All Share Price Index dropped 24.19 points to close at 11,458.05, and the S&P SL20 dropped 14.30 points to close at 3,288.49. The turnover was 0.7 billion rupees and over 42 million shares were traded.
Up next are forex rates. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Take care and good night.